to another episode for MC Airsoft. My name is Mark, and today we're going to be going over the loadout I used at Operation Lion Claw's Cartel Wars, which was an event hosted this past weekend at SC Village. Not really going to be going over my thoughts on the event. We'll probably do that at a later time, but I'm going to be going over what I used, giving thoughts and opinions on it. This is going to set precedents for future videos. I might do a what am I wearing at future event XYZ video in the future, but largely I want to keep all of my loadouts more in the realm of what did I wear. That way I can give thoughts and opinions and feedback to you guys on what I'm wearing and whether or not it actually worked. Because I see a lot of videos where people are wearing a lot of kit that I don't think is actually useful. I get the aesthetic part of Airsoft, the fashion show part of it, but I want to kind of stay away from that, tell you what's practical, because you're going to pick whatever you want for aesthetics on your own. And what I say doesn't really have an impact on that. If you think helmets are cool, you're going to wear a helmet. If you think helmets are dumb, you're not going to wear a helmet. So what I'm going to talk about more is what I found useful, what I didn't find useful, how I set up my gear. I'm not going to wear it. It's hot. I need to clean it. So just getting into it, we'll go over safety gear first. So iPro, I was wearing these. They are Vulcan Tactical, I don't know, the $13 ones on Amazon. Real cheap, but I took some pretty decent impacts to them, no issue. And there's some scratching. It's more from coming in and out of my bag than anything else. The only thing I've done to these so far is I electrical taped the little attachment points down, so that way those no longer come attached or unattached. As far as fogging, the only issue I had with fogging was in the first round or the first Evo, when we were standing still for long periods of time in a kind of dried out creek bed with lots of vegetation, got pretty foggy. Other than that, didn't really have issues, especially once we started moving around. They cleared out just fine. The only other issue I had, I guess two issues I had with it, was one, when sweat actually got on the lenses, which is going to be the case with anyone. And two, there was one hit that I took to the right side that I guess the goggles were fogged up or had sweat on them or something, but I took an impact and that shot all of the sweat and fog into my eye, which was not comfortable because it's salt water essentially that you're getting in your eye. It's not very comfortable. Other than that, had no issues with them. They worked fantastically. I don't know that I would wear tinted ones to the next one. I do prefer wearing sunglasses when I'm outdoors at pretty much at all times, but it made some target identifications kind of hard with the different teams. So that's something that you'll have to take into consideration for yourself. Now, I did not wear ear pro, but I did wear face protection. This, I believe, is a One Tigress mask. It's a little different than most because it has a hard plastic, well, kind of hard plastic. It's still flexible. Front on here, it might not be One Tigress. I'm not really sure because I bought it in Modern Airsoft, didn't have a name on it. It has that kind of moisture wicking material, fabric sides, worked really well. Didn't have any issues with it. So yeah, again, didn't wear ear pro. Next one, wear a watch. If you're going to a milsim or anything with missions, wear a watch. It came in a lot of handy to tell when an event was going to end, or if we were going to be stepping off from our current location, moving to another location in 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever the case was, or being able to, if we are holding a spot for 30 minutes, being able to set a timer so you can adjust your plans accordingly, or just look at the time and add 30 minutes, and that's when you're stepping off, so you got to know about it, right? Next thing, Camelbak. Now this is a 3-liter Camelbak, so what do I have in it? I got a extra magazine and extra battery in this pouch, which reminds me I need to unload that magazine, but extra magazine, extra battery. Didn't use them, forgot this was in there. That's why it's not unloaded. I'll separate that off the side. I did purchase my VFA patch because I did go with the VFA guys. Great group. If you ever get a chance to hang out with them, or be on their team. I got some Cliff bars down in the bottom. I'm not sponsored by Cliff. They are just awesome. I really like the oatmeal raisin ones. Not that it matters, right? But in here I got one more Cliff bar. I didn't eat any of them on the field, but for longer meal centers that might be a good thing. This is a 3-liter Camelbak in a Pantac map bag. I've had this bag for at least like 10 years. Phenomenal bag. Went on deployment to Iraq with me. Great bag. No issues there. The hydration source, other than I pulled the little bite tube off once, not even in game, just walking around camp. That wasn't really an issue. The other issue I ran into is that it does not have, so this is the replacement tube that I picked up at a surplus store in SoCal for it. It did not have the insulating tubing or the sun, or UV protection tubing, whatever you want to call that. And it does not have a cover for the mouth guard. So if you're getting a Camelbak, make sure it has the cover for the tubing, and make sure that it has a cover for your bite valve. Now again, I have to clean that because I purchased for use from a surplus store, but that's an improvement I'm going to be doing. I do not recommend the plain tubes. I do not recommend anything that doesn't have a bite guard on, or a cover for your bite valve. So Schmog, great for wiping off sweat, right? That is primarily what I use this for. That, and to wrap my speed loader, so it's not quite as loud in my pack if it wasn't full, because it wasn't full for the most part. Which actually, so I was carrying 7 magazines, so 1 in the gun, 1 in my, or 8 magazines, 1 in the gun, 1 in my pack, 6 on my body, and that was overkill. There were other people shooting a lot more than I was. I shot maybe 6 or 7 magazines worth, so it was overkill to carry this. Now another thing with this is that, so this is the knockoff $20 one. I'm not going to link to it. I think buy the original, do your own research for, or just buy it, it's $20. The reason I'm not going to link it is because I lost this part here, the actual knob. So I don't know how much I can actually hold that against them, because it still functions as a speed loader, but I'm going to not recommend that one. I think this wasn't even a Valken one. I think it was a even more knockoff than that. So yeah, get the Valken one, get the Odin one, do something else. Don't buy the third option on Amazon. I can't remember the name of. But having a crank speed loader means that I loaded all 7 magazines in under like 5 minutes. I took no time at all. If I was sitting there with the normal ones, then that would have taken forever. I did bring a couple of those in case this one had a problem, but and I just always have a couple in my bag. But yeah, that's something to keep in mind. But here, the thing of it is that if you're spending, a couple $100 on your rifle, why not get good magazines? Why not get, or at least, Elite Force, something like that, magazines. The Elite Force 140s is primarily what I used, and they worked great. They're, $9 a mag or something like that. They're really good. But like, I've seen people with, probably close to like $1,500 worth of guns in their bag, and then they're pulling out these little cheapo speed loaders, and it's like, bite the bullet, get a little bit more expensive of a speed loader, and just make it easier on yourself. So next thing, carried this, which is a knockoff Haley Strategic chest rig. I'm probably going to pick up the real one soon, because I do really like this, and this will get it put in my loaner gear or just backup. I did purchase this patch as well from VFA, which is their little IR patch. Great for throwing onto gear in random spots. Again, Elite Force magazines were primarily what I was running. I was doing my main reloads off of my chest and then restacking them with the belt. I don't like reloading a rifle off my belt, so that's just me. One thing, make sure you tighten down these bungees on the side here, because I did have a speed loader that fell out somewhere on the field, full of BBs. The one of the cheap $1 ones or $2 ones, so not a big issue. On this side, cheap $10 or $15 multi-tool, something that if that fell out, again, not a huge issue. Not like losing my $110 Gerber that I normally have secured somewhere, like in a pack or something. But other than that, pretty awesome chest rig. Carried everything I needed, and it's not too big, as you can see. I'm 6 foot, about 250 pounds, so fit just fine, and it stayed on just fine. So yeah, that was my chest rig. Again, American flag patch on the front, because America. I can go over there. My belt rig. I did apparently lose a glove. I need to scrounge around, check everything I brought with me, because I might have accidentally left it there. But mechanics impact gloves. The only really thing I used for these was as a fabric source to clear out goggles. I didn't play with them. Maybe I should have. I did. The first hit I took was on the knuckle there, but it didn't really bug me any. I just don't like shooting with gloves on, so your mileage may vary, but that's, I didn't really use them. They would have been handy maybe for a bigger milsim if I was clearing material out of the way, or like removing a door or something, I don't know, or working with brush or something like that. But I didn't really use them at this one. Maybe I'll use gloves more in the future, I don't know. Had those on a carabiner here. Nothing special. Just old, it had rust on it at one point, so it's no longer good for climbing. So I spray painted it black. It was silver, and it's fine. Bungee, this is pretty much the same belt setup minus what we'll get to last. Bungee, it's for weapon retention, so you can either have it preset like that, or just when you go to stow your rifle, you can slap that around it, however that works for you. Bungees, to me, are a necessity if you're running 1 point. Med kit, not going to go over what's in it. It is an actual med kit, not like a dump pouch or something. Always carry medical supplies, as long as you know how to use them. If you don't know how to use them, get training on how to use them. Always carry medical supplies. Even in your civilian use or your regular day-to-day use, carry medical supplies. You never know when you need them. And if you need them and don't have them, well, that's going to be a bad day. I have one on my kit for Airsoft. I have one in my car. I have a little sling bag that I normally carry. I'll take 2 to the range when I go. You know, I always have medical supplies nearby because it's better to need them, have them and not need them than to need them and not have them, right? Dump pouch. What did I have in my dump pouch? At one point, I had our commander's Hawaiian shirt in there, as I put it up as a decoy. I had a pouch that had barrel covers that I was holding on to because I distributed out the barrel covers. I did put a couple magazines in there at one point, but again, I didn't go through that many magazines, so I use a dump pouch for pretty much everything else. I did also have my dead rag in there for easy access. It was Henry Avery's flag. This is Amazon, couple bucks, and it's not your generic dead rag. Also, it has tie points, which I looped into the back of my hat because I was wearing this hat. That's why it's all sweaty. But I looped those into the back so I could just drape it over the front. If I started walking, I could drape it over the back, you know, wherever I needed to put it. But it was a good tie point to put it onto my hat. Also, you know, I could take it off, and it's a longer one, so I could cover my face if I'm laying there sitting, waiting for, you know, after getting shot kind of thing. Magazine pouch. This is just a triple magazine pouch with bungee, nothing special. Just looped it through the molly, and so I was running extra magazines on my right here to restack my plate with, or my chest rig with. But other than that, this is just a Blackhawk normal belt. Has the Velcro on the inside. I've never used the Velcro on the inside, but yeah, it's just a Blackhawk belt. I've had it for years. Works great. What's next? Knee pads. Now these are roll knee pads. I tore this with a knife because I was looping paracord through it for a different project. Don't mind that. These were same with that point. These were in great shape before that, but they are the HWA, I think. It's hard to tell. So the tag looks like that. Of course, that's backwards, but whatever. These are, I think they're HWA is the brand name. But they're great knee pads. They have the Cool Max, whatever that is, on the back. I wore these briefly, didn't really use them. Because they were starting to bug my knees because I got bad knees, but throughout a normal short game kind of thing, I have no issues with them. I'll wear those mostly for CQB because you should always wear knee pads for CQB because it sucks when your knees are done. Rifle setup. So this is an optic I reviewed. It's the same setup I've reviewed prior, so go ahead and look at my Mark 18 video. I don't know if this light was on there before. This is just a cheap light from Walmart that I ground off the ridges on. It's a $14 light, so if it gets shot out, not a big deal. Ruger sights, HOA, HAO, suppressor, and rails. Now, thing with the flash suppressor, the flash suppressor, I did have to drill it out some, and I'm gonna have to drill it out even further because I keep getting strikes onto the prongs themselves. Although I might end up replacing the barrel in this, running a barrel as far forward as possible, so I might not need to do that. Normal 9.6 non-LiPo batteries, normal batteries. Gunfather Milsim sling, great sling. If you haven't seen my review, go check that out. A2 grip with the nub removed, Tango down foregrip, and the Amazon special knockoff T1. Now something to say about that is I did win a raffle, which there was a t-shirt in here. It's inside. This is from HPA. So bottle of approximately 3,300 rounds of 0.3 biodegradables. I'll be trying those out. I might do a video talking about BBs. Honestly, as long as you are using the same BBs, you have a good source for them. Same BBs for consistency's sake. Have a good source for them. They have a polish on them. They don't have the ridges on them, and they're not like 0.12s, 0.2s. You're probably fine with whatever you're using. But what I'm interested to try out, so one of these two optics, because if you can't tell, they're about the same. Obviously the quality on this one feels better, but they're about the same look. This one has a QD mount, which I like. But the only real difference is the knobs are swapped. So one of these is going on pistol build I'm doing. The other is going to stay on Mark 18. But big thank you to them. The build quality on this feels great. Came with another mounting plate. I think this is just a screw-on version and this is the QD version. But build quality feels great. I'll be throwing that on a build and then getting a review done on that as well. But that's where we're at Lion Claws. If anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave them down in the comments. But until next time, stay safe and stay hydrated.